There's been lots of backlash here in the United States against buying goods with the label Made in China. But a new report finds most of the money tied to those products is actually winding up in American hands. Mary Snow's joining us from New York. She's got details. Mary?
Well, if these findings seem to buck conventional wisdom, this study was done at the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco. One of its authors says while it might seem surprising at first glance, a closer look shows that not as much money goes to China as you might think.
Are you going to get that?
Walk through a toy store like this one, and just about everything here seems to be made in China, even Captain America. How many of the products that you sell are made in China?
I would probably say about 90% is
90?
probably, yeah, made in China. Everything's made in China. It's cheaper to produce and manufacture stuff in China, and I guess that's where everybody goes.
And while everything from toys to electronics are being made in China, not as much money as you might expect goes abroad. That's according to economists at the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco. They found that Chinese goods ranging from furniture to clothes and shoes only make up 2.7% of U.S. personal consumption expenditures. Economists say most of the money goes to the U.S. because of the services tied to those goods.
When the good arrives, it needs to be transported, it needs to be insured, it needs to be shelved, stored, and people who do it need to be paid, and the retail space need to be paid for.
Economist Galena Hale says for every dollar spent on a product made in China, 55 cents goes toward those services produced in the U.S., while 45 cents goes to China. But not everyone is buying it, including Michael Mandel of the Progressive Policy Institute, who calls the data misleading.
The data that the San Francisco Fed economists were using seems to show that the impact of imports on the economy is not as big as people think. But the fact is, all you have to do is look at the lost jobs, and you understand that the impact is quite large.
And in fact, jobs lost to China are not part of this study. San Francisco Fed economists say they only looked at consumer consumption and that they stand by their numbers, saying they wanted to provide calculations on how consumer spending is distributed. Wolf?